Well, it's the morning of day 3 of my trip and day 2 of the walkabout. Slept well last night. Decided to sleep in this morning. Today's going to be a more leisurely pace. Not going to go as far or as hard. I'm going to see some of the local sites here in the main canyon and then explore another side canyon. A lot colder today. It was really hot yesterday. It's turned off cool, probably, I don't know, 10 to 15 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday. The wind died down over the night. It was really windy. Almost blew the tent over a time or two. Looks like a nice day and looking forward to it. Breakfast this morning is going to be some hot chocolate, maybe some hot oatmeal, and some homemade oatmeal cookies, and whatever else I can scrounge up. Alright, breakfast is ready. So this morning I decided to explore another branch canyon. Never been up this one before either. It's not supposed to be a slot canyon. It's just a big wash with big red cliffs on both sides. So, look it over. See what we can find up here today. I don't really have any destination in mind. I'm just wandering, exploring and discovering. Just seeing what I can find. Enjoying the solitude. It's interesting how quickly the bottom changes in these washes from sand and gravel to boulders, all within just a matter of a few yards. No matter how many times I come down to this part of the state, I never get tired of the scenery. It just goes on and on and on. And what a beautiful, beautiful canyon. Peaceful, not a person around. Not too hot, not too cold. A light little breeze keeps the mosquitoes and the biting gnats off. Main vegetation down in here is, of course, the cottonwoods, some juniper, rabbit brush, sagebrush, a little bit of greasewood, and a few wildflowers, lots of sand. There's some cactus coming into bloom. Beautiful flower. And here's a little seep, or a spring. What I would have given yesterday to have found this. Nice clear water. Coming down from up canyon here. I'll continue on up and see what the source looks like. Yeah, this looks like the head of the spring, or the head of one of the springs. Look at that beautiful clear water. And here are some very fresh deer tracks. Obviously they just came down to get a drink. Well, it's warming up quickly now, so it's time to shed a layer or two. So this canyon was my alternate route if yesterday's slot canyon had turned out to be impassable. Boy, it sure would have been a lot easier had I chosen this alternative. Here's a nice stand of old cottonwoods. Cottonwoods, at least in this country, are an indicator of underground water. They need quite a bit. So if they're growing here, there's water at least somewhere near the surface. Another water source. Looking good. Now here's an old dead cottonwood. It fell down over the draw. An important survival tip about cottonwoods is a dead one has this really dry, papery inner bark that is an outstanding tinder for starting fires. Just almost like tissue paper. Yeah, you put a handful of that in your pocket and you're set for fire starter tinder for a long time. Huh. Well, who would have known? There's a mini slot canyon in this big canyon. I bet it doesn't go more than maybe 40-50 yards, and it may be impassable, but let's go see. 50 yards was optimistic. It's not even 50 feet, but interesting. And a hidden water source. Not near as nice a water source as the ones we saw down the canyon further, but filterable nonetheless. So right there is where I got cliffed out. I went around, got on top. Okay, the little slot canyon continues up here. Here's another hidden pool. These could save your life in the middle of the summer. It's shaded. It's a deep pocket, so there'll be water in there for probably, maybe even most of the summer. And then the end of my mini slot canyon. Oh, there's an interesting feature. I think I'll have to go up and take a look at that. That's exactly the kind of place I would expect to find some ancient Anasazi ruins. South facing, shaded in the summer, sunlight in the winter, nice roof overhead, sheltered from rain and snow. Okay, here's the west alcove. And there's a nice bench up there. Let's see if I can get up to it. There it is. What a great place to build a shelter. I'm really surprised there's nothing up here. I'll look around and see if I can find any rock art, but at least no permanent structures. Boy, it sure would be defendable. Nobody's going to come up here without getting pelted by some big rocks. If you were up here on top and somebody was coming up to attack you, it wouldn't be good for those coming up to attack. Alright, I'll walk around and see what I can see. This is an amazing overhang. So protected. Well, no rock art that I could find. It doesn't mean it's not here, but it's not obvious if it is here. Well, here I am in the east alcove. No permanent dwellings up here, but I can see something interesting. It looks like some pictographs on this big rock right here. Yeah. Somebody, many years ago, thought this looked like a good spot to spend a sunny afternoon. Nothing better to do than to make a pictograph. Cool. It's a cool little camp spot. Out of the elements and commanding view of the countryside below. Well, it was worth the climb. And here's something that doesn't look quite natural. It looks, to me, almost man-made. It looks like a grinding stone has been working here to form these depressions. Maybe they were grinding Indian rice grass into flour, who knows, but definitely a lot of grinding marks in here, and it's a nice little smooth, 3 little smooth depressions. Huh. Well, who knows? We'll take an archaeologist, anthropologist, or whatever they might be called, to document and verify what that is. I think it's something, though. It's getting close to noon, so I'm going to stop, have lunch, take a little rest. I'm not going to forget lunch like I did yesterday. So, if all goes as planned, I'm going to head out this canyon and camp somewhere down at the mouth, which is about at that distant ridge line way out there. I made it out of the side canyon. Now I'm working my way up the main wash, looking for a good campsite. Good looking old cottonwood tree. It's got some real character to it. Might be a good spot over there. There's another good one. Yeah, big old monarch cottonwood. No place really good to camp underneath that one, though. I'll keep looking. Maybe I'll go try over against the wall of the canyon next to some of the red rock. And I found a good camp spot. So this is where I'll spend the night. It's kind of early. It's like mid-afternoon, but this is as far as I'm going to go. I'm just going to not push it as far as I did yesterday. And I just put up camp, stay here and relax for a while. It's definitely colder today, and I expect tonight's going to be quite a bit colder than last night, so I think I'll put the rain fly on the tent this time. Okay, it's time to start cooking dinner. Tonight I'm having basically leftovers and odds and ends, just throwing things together. I'm going to take some beef jerky, dice it up into some little cubes, put it in water, boil it, and then add some instant potato mix to it. So that'll be my mashed potatoes and beef jerky. And then I'm going to do cheese quesadillas grilled. So that's the plan. We'll do it one step at a time here. It's the end of day 3. We'll see you in the morning.